My name is Aaron Drake. I have been a deep space pilot for 8 years, and in those 8 years I have learned one thing above everything else. The moment someone decides you are not a threat is the moment you become the most dangerous thing in the room. The Drethkai had decided that 3 hours ago, when they boarded my ship, took my weapons, locked me in my own cargo hold, and went back to celebrating what they clearly believed was an easy victory. I used those 3 hours well. The Drethkai were pirates, but they were organized pirates, which made them more dangerous than most. 7 crew, 1 commander, 1 ship that outweighed mine by a factor of 4. They had taken my cargo, disabled my communications, and left 2 guards at my cargo hold door while the rest of them transferred my supplies to their vessel. The guards were not paying close attention. That was their first mistake. Their second mistake was leaving me in a cargo hold full of medical equipment, engineering tools, and 3 years' worth of spare parts that I knew better than I knew my own hands. I did not need a weapon. I built one. It took 40 minutes and looked like nothing impressive. Just a handheld device made from a plasma cutter, 2 capacitor arrays, and a power cell from an emergency beacon, but it carried enough directed charge to overload any personal shield system currently in production, and I had made 3 of them before the guards even shifted their weight. I was through the door in the next 60 seconds. The 2 guards went down before they understood what was happening. I moved through my own ship in the dark because I had flown her for 3 years and I knew every corridor, every corner, every place the floor made a sound, and every place it did not. The Drethkai commander was in my cockpit. He was a large creature, broad and scaled, with 4 arms and the confident posture of someone who had done this many times and never once faced a consequence. He was going through my personal logs when I stepped through the cockpit door, which I found particularly irritating. He turned around slowly because he was not afraid. He was the kind of person who turned around slowly to make a point. When he saw me, he looked at the device in my hand and then at my face, and something shifted in his expression because whatever he had expected to see, it was not this. "Your crew is down," I said. "Your docking clamp is still locked to my hull. You are not going anywhere." He looked at me for a long moment with large yellow eyes that had clearly seen a great deal of violence and were not particularly moved by the prospect of more. "Human," he said. His translator gave his voice a deep, rolling quality. "You have courage. I will acknowledge that." "I do not need your acknowledgement," I said. "You are one," he said, spreading his 4 arms slowly. "I am Drethkai. Do you understand what that means?" "It means you are used to people being afraid of you," I said. "That is not the same as being something worth fearing." He moved then, fast, the way large things sometimes move when they have decided that speed will solve the problem. He crossed half the cockpit before I fired. The charge hit his shield system, and the overload was immediate and total. He went down hard, all 4 arms out, and stayed down. I stood over him in my dark cockpit and waited until his breathing told me he was unconscious, but alive. Then I stepped over him, sat in my pilot's seat, and began the process of taking back my ship. It took another 40 minutes to secure his remaining crew, restore my communications, and file a distress beacon with the nearest patrol station. By the time the Kelvari patrol vessel arrived, I had all 8 Drethkai secured in my cargo hold and a full incident report ready. The patrol officer who boarded was young, with the wide eyes of someone who had been told what to expect and found something else entirely. She walked through my ship slowly. She looked at the secured Drethkai. She looked at the devices I had built. She looked at the devices I had built. She looked at me. "You did this alone," she said. "Yes," I said. "Against 8 Drethkai. They made assumptions," I said. "I used them." She was quiet for a moment, looking at the Drethkai commander, who was considerably larger than me, in every direction. "The census reports say humans are mid-tier," she said slowly. "Physically limited, short-lived." "The census reports measure the wrong things," I said. She looked at me with something new in her expression. Not quite fear, something more like the careful respect you give to something you have just realized you did not fully understand. "What do they miss?" she asked. I picked up my coffee from the console where it had been sitting since before all of this started. It was cold. I drank it anyway. "They measure what we are," I said. "They do not measure what we become when someone makes the mistake of backing us into a corner." She did not have an answer for that. Nobody ever does.